Shalom. Call Holo Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Yahweh Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. This is Barad Debal coming to you from the GMS campus, Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning to you, I say Shalom, especially to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Just open forum, spiritual thoughts, Madhouse, and of course the reference to this is, of course, Babylon, also known as America. If you are spiritually in the know, America is also known as Babylon, and when you look up, Babylon, it just goes back to confusion. And when I looked that up, the word Madhouse, it tells you just that. This is Madhouse in the Webster Dictionary. And as you can see, it says an institution provided care to mentally ill individuals. And you can say, because this is, in other words, a system that was created by Yahweh Shai, through Yahweh. It was a system created for our captivity. And this is our final captivity. But in the process of it, not everyone is going to be on this side rehabilitated. You only have the elect, 144,000 in the elect, who will actually make it out of what we consider a madhouse. Again, there are a plethora of mentally ill individuals. One particular situation that is out in the news is, of course, this transformer who went to a church, Catholic church, and unalived a couple of children, and I think the number at this point is 17 total children. Well, there's probably a mix of some adults, but the majority were children. And so, of course, that would be something that would be considered mentally ill. He had a manifesto, and within the manifesto, all the things in which he wanted to do, and one was to hurt children. Here's the other part two to this. It says a place of uproar and confusion. So you have this place now, America, where we're living in a time where there has been a complete uproar of the people. Well, not complete, because most of them are still docile and just accepting everything that's coming. So I have to retract that for a moment, but it is coming, where there's going to be sedition among men, fighting amongst each other with swords in their hands, as the scripture speaks of. Right now, people are just speaking and they're languishing. They're upset, but there is confusion, because now the only ones who really know what's actually going on or about to go on is, first and foremost, the elect, starting with the men of Great Millstone, our head apostles and elders, and those that teach the likewise doctrine. But then you also have the elites, the very top elites. See, they understand the time in which they're in, their fall, the fall of their kingdom. And so, of course, let's get a scripture. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." All right. "Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil," which is deceiver, right, the adversary of contrary to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and his people, The devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So his time is short, and they know it. They see the signs. Part of the signs are the men of the Lord going out on the highways and byways and preaching the truth. Okay, going out to the gates of the nobles, telling them their judgment alongside with 2/3 of our people, two-thirds of the people of Israel and the other nations as well. So that before the Lord brings forth destruction, he sends forth his men, and to speak for his coming, like as a forerunner. You had John the Baptist when Yahushua came in the physical. You had John the Baptist who came forth and baptized Yahushua, speaking of the one to come. And now we are in the stead as a nation of men coming back into this knowledge and understanding through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to usher in his second coming. But with this second coming, is going to be a glorious one for the elect, but a great destruction into the rest of the nations and 2/3 of our people. So again, this is just a short, version. But again, this is a madhouse. This is a scripture I want to get. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 35. It says, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, right? Which, is our today's time. These Chaldeans would be the magicians or the secret council of the top elites, which are the Amalekites, the ones who claim to be the people today, who actually runs the banking systems and Hollywood and the corn industries and things of that nature, right? Who works in the background, who actually pull what they say, pull the strings, right? The moves in which Trump and many other these men that you see in the forefront are doing, they have men who actually are their handlers, who actually controls them. But anyway, it says, and upon the inhabitants a sword, right, which is a killing instrument, is upon the Chaldeans, and saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. So of course we know before original the first Babylon was taken down, but in these days that which is then is now, we understand that this Babylon is actually going to be taken down by fire. It's going to be completely destroyed. And so it says a sword is upon the liars, and who would that be? It'd be the top elite on this side, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, starting with them. They're going to all be found out to be liars. For one, claiming the heritage of the children of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. But it says, they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. Because again, the mighty men, they're warriors, they're army men. They actually have them going out in the streets. They've been, they're known. America has been known, which is the hub of their army. Their military have been known to go all over the earth. Causing, what I would say, causing ruckus, right? Confusion, bringing forth the agenda of the top elites. Either it be to take land, oppress a man and their heritage, right? They covet fields, okay, roughly paraphrasing. But the sword is upon the mighty man, and they shall be dismayed. Let's look up this word, dismayed. Dismayed, expressing or showing feeling of alarm, concern. Okay, dismayed, upset, worried, right? Agitated, Okay, so they're going to be in worry. A sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. See, Babylon is a melting pot, as they would say, of mixed people of all different races and from different countries, and everyone is going to get it. They're going to receive this judgment. You have at this current moment, you have many people that lived here or was born here in America, fleeing and leaving the land. You have people who came here for a better life. They're now leaving. So you have people who are fleeing this country. They're seeing the increase of like the wickedness that are happening, and they're seeing that there's no hope to continue on in this place. So that's part of being the madhouse. You have people and being deported, taken out of their homes. I'm going to get something real quick, but let's finish this. It says, they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. Because eventually, the Lord is going to, they're going, the things that they've done to people, pillaged, like what they say, raped, robbed, and murdered. It's going to be upon Babylon. It's going to happen to this place. It says, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. And everything is about money, cars, clothes, hoes, self, getting the bag. And so this is America, and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, had it for a purpose, and He's going to do away with it. All right, so let's get this here, because I was like, I asked Chat GPT, and I'm not going to go too deep or too far into this, but I asked, it says the phrase madhouse can have I said, what does madhouse mean? It says the phrase madhouse can have a few meanings depending on the context. Historically, it refers to psychiatric hospital or asylum, right? And again, like I mentioned before, this place in its entirety is like an asylum. You have many people, like I said, with mental illnesses. How do we say? Yahweh Shai said, the love of many shall wax cold, because iniquity, sin upon sin, because iniquity shall abound, shall grow. It says the love of many shall wax cold. And when you look at that word cold, it goes into psycho, right? And we're seeing, families fighting amongst themselves. Mothers actually just came across just scrolling through, and it wasn't the actual video, but someone was saying that I guess the husband or wife walked in on her husband, who was a grown man in his late 20s, laying down with his mama. And so, of course, we know what the scriptures say about those type of things. And so that's mad. That's ill, right? These are just one small parts of many things that have been going on here in the Americas. And the righteous, the elect of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is tired, sick of it. Okay. Since the last couple of weeks, there's been, since college has started, there's been college shootings, and there's been some that they've said have been false flags or hoax, but still it's just the terror that in which the scriptures talk about, the valley of the shadow of death. Death illumes you. You wake up in the morning and you go out and never even know if you will make it back home, right? So then it says madhouse. It says formal, figurative meaning. Madhouse is often used figurative to describe a place or situation that is extremely chaotic, noisy, and out of control. This is a lawless place. It's completely out of control, where the women usurp authority, and they go out and gad abroad, They have been given liberty to gad abroad, all sorts of freedom. The men you're starting to see they're dressing or wearing red dresses, and you know, and the younger men are promoting wearing skirts and like women's shoes. And the scriptures, we know what the scriptures say about that. Okay, a man shall not wear that which pertains to a woman. Neither a woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. All right, and so it's like the scriptures say in Isaiah. Isaiah has mentioned. He says, they declare their sin as Sodom; they hide it not. So everything in which they're doing, their lewd acts, it's all out in the open. You going through social media and you may flip through now, whether it's like media that should be for like families and things like that. And you're scrolling through and you're hearing guys having conversations with all sorts of women, and they're very open about their sexual escapades, right? And having actually a husband, a lot of them having husbands or boyfriends standing right there with them. And it says the deep. So then I asked, would America be considered a madhouse? Just for kicks and giggles. It says that depends heavily on context, perspective, and tone. So if someone says America is a madhouse, they are usually using the term figuratively, often to express frustration, disbelief, and criticism, right? So just as you can see, political, social rest, and these things you could all look up and see examples that are happening. Look, overwhelming media culture, right? Everybody has something to say now, and gun violence, all right? Economic inequality. See all these things. So then, let's scroll down. So then I asked, I said, give real time examples, and then here it is. It says, here are several real time concrete examples from just today and very recently, showing how the U.S. is experiencing scenes that might make people describe it as a madhouse. So let's check it out. So it says current events illustrating a story of mood of chaos, military tensions in L.A., right? And now we know that Trump has sent military into D.C., all right? And what's the reason? They're saying it's because it's extreme crime, right? Extreme violence is what they said. Though the opposite, there's where you say the house divided against itself. That's mad, right? Because the opposites are saying that the crime has been down of several percentages, which that can be looked up. Some say 50 or whatever the case is. It says massive planning protests nationwide. Almost 1,000 workers over billionaire worker over billionaire acts as scheduled for around 50 states during Labor Day. See, there's like 1,000 workers that's looking to protest. Now, there was one that I seen where just recently the head lady, she was only been working for maybe a few weeks of the CDC. She got let go because what was said is that allegedly she was not with the next set of injections that they were going to push upon the people. And so they let her go. And in the process of that, a slew of other officers within the company actually left. And then so now there's the confusion, there's chaos, there's division, right? It says, here's something else. It says centralizing federal law enforcement. So, of course, now, you have ISIS and you have right here the FBI. It says recently executive order has initiated a Trump-aligned takeover of D.C. police authority, right? See, pushing forward FBI. Look, judicial a judicial system overwhelmed in D.C., plan to send troops to Chicago. Why this may feel like a madhouse, widespread unrest and protest, military federal intervention, justice system overload, authoritarian uh, leaning law enforcement policies, right? So now you're going to have a time in which people are going to fully uprise and fight back. So we'll get this last scripture and we'll end. Um, and this is the book of Second Esdras chapter 15, verse. I'm going to go up, read a little bit. Verse 14, it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Right. So now we read in Revelations 12 and 12 where it says, "Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth," right? Because Esau, Edom, the devil is coming down with great wrath, right? And that woe meaning destruction. Okay, so it's like, so now we're in Esdras and he's seeing some destruction happening. He says, "For the sword," as we mentioned again in Babylon and Jeremiah, "for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." They're going to have guns, military guns. They've actually given these troops in D.C. Guns to carry while in the streets now. So with swords in their hand, he says, and there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So they're not going to regard Trump, any of these high authority men, not even the military, right? They're going to go against, when they start to tell people to do one thing, people are going to do complete opposite, and there's going to be a clash because of it. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power, because they're going to do what they feel is their will, right? And not listen to the government. It says, "And a man shall desire to go into a city and not be able," because we've been talking about the martial law, these troops, because of that uprising. It's like they're already getting prepared for it with sending troops in all these different cities, because when these uprisings begin, and it's something now that I'm thinking about it, because he started doing this right before the Labor Day. And as we've seen that they said there was going to be thousands of workers or so, or different protests that's going to be happening. So who's to say what could actually be happening in the coming days? But he said, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." He says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Because this will have to be, again, like you said, it's a madhouse. It's going to get even crazier. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." Again, there it is again. "And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Because of all this craziness that's going on, people are going to start doing things. They're going to resort to what they feel is their strength. All right. Last thing. Nope, we'll end there. Let me read that one again. He says, "And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for a great tribulation." Right? And we know that, let me get this last one. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but ye shall be saved out of it." So the day that's coming, we're in that time of Jacob's trouble, where it's just going to be a madhouse, craziness going on all around the elect. Because, of course, the elect, there will be some martyred for the truth. But overall, he's going to keep the elect safe from harm. Like you said, That day is great, even the time of Jacob's trouble, but ye, meaning the elect, shall be saved out of it. So I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort to the elect body of true believers. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. Till next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say, Shalom.